Hi, this is John Wolpert of the Baseline Protocol team, and this is a quick demonstration of how to create a new project in the Baseline Protocol. I'm going to share my screen and go over here, and here we are in Zenhub on the Ethereum Oasis organization under the, in this case, the Baseline Roadmap repo. There's also a baseline repo. That's where most of the engineering work is happening. We have a website repo, and that's mainly it. And we have one Zenhub workspace called Baseline Main Roadmap in here. This allows us to, at a high level, look at where different master projects and epics are at. This is an open source community, a large one, so it's always a task to keep these up to date, and and sometimes they get out of being up to date, but that's why we have meetings every 2 weeks to prune and keep an eye on things. But there's lots of different projects, and many of them are not even tracked here because groups are doing their own projects sort of on their own. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when you want the community to know what's going on and be able to coordinate with the maintainers and with other projects, this is where you want to be. And then here we have our Kanban board for anybody experienced with that. We have new epics, we have project in progress epics. And in this case, it's important to know that the Baseline Protocol community uses the notion of epics inside Zenhub as sort of the master container of work. So you can have epics within epics within epics, and then you can have standard GitHub issues underneath them. And then you can also use GitHub projects by going up to Ethereum Oasis, go into projects. This will allow you to create a project with both Baseline Roadmap and, say, the Baseline repo. So if you want to have issues and topics and content from both repos, then you go up to the Ethereum Oasis project, create a new project. And if you have any trouble with that, contact myself or any of the TSC members or Jory Burson from Oasis to help get a new project up for you. And you can always reach most of us through the Baseline Slack, which is easily found on the baseline-protocol.org website. So here we are back in the Kanban board, and say now you want to, these are the new epics we'll be reviewing this week at the next steering committee on Monday. And here's the ones that are in progress. I've just been reviewing those today to make sure that they're in good trim. And then we've got this becomes a lot smaller, the new issues. This is where a lot of the engineering work is happening. These are actual tasks, engineering tasks, and small containable sets of work that are in issues and in progress, of course. So we review these on the SSC call, the TSC call, and the maintainers call. So from here, and then we have backlog, which are things that we're prioritizing, and then an icebox, which are things that really just aren't getting worked right now, but we don't want to lose track of them because they might be important in the future. And then we also have sort of a column for organizational stuff and our closed issues. This is things that have been successfully completed. By the way, note in our organizational issues we have a topic for press release go-to journalists, where we're collecting the journalists that we like to inform of new releases and new stuff. We have our this is where we keep all of our SSC and TSC regular meeting agendas and minutes. And we also are trying to track events that the community should be aware of and going to and speaking at. So all sorts of stuff we do in here. And so back here, say you want to create a new issue. That's what this video is all about, really. We've created a template. So if what you want to do when you're setting up a project is articulate the project to the community on a single card in a single epic, right? And but bear in mind that epics are just issues that Zenhub has marked up as a special kind of issue called an epic that allows Zenhub to not just have a flat, single topic, but something that you can nest inside of other epics, and that you can also then tie issues to. And so a real great way to use this is to create a sort of a master epic, a master card for a project. And we've created this template, and you grab it right here, and you can name it new project. And you'll notice that we've written some directions in here that you can just get rid of. So this is this template is for writing what we call a master epic. In the baseline protocol community, it's a common practice to start with one epic, work it up, get the community to into a state where we have a well-articulated plan, and then break it up into smaller parts, stories, epics, smaller epics, stories, tasks to manage the actual work. And in the end, a good project will have a master epic that everyone can find on the roadmap that contains all the smaller issues and work, so we can find it all in one place and know from the project description what the point of the work is. So you can just get rid of that and then create a project description. Write up your project description, change the impact on the baseline community. You can write up, what people need to know. You can do something like put different people in here to make sure that they're aware that this is something that they should be involved in. If they're not in the baseline org, then you can still at least reference them by, just name or public profile or what have you. And if they aren't in here, make sure to go alert them that they aren't in here and that they should get in there. And again, go to the TSC chair on the Slack, on the baseline Slack, and you can get yourself added to the community, to the org. And then acceptance criteria is usually, a very classic section that one would want to have. A loose timeline. What's the timeline for this epic? What resources are needed? What might potentially block the work? And don't worry too much about whether or not you're going to actually be able to make that timeline. It just creates focus, and you can always change that timeline. This is an open source community, and there's no boss or overlord or hegemon that's going to come in and tell you, oh, you didn't make your deadline. That's not really what this is about. It's a community effort. So it's helpful for the community to know what one's intentions are. And so to say, yeah, we intend to get this out in August. Well, at least that way, when August is approaching, whether or not you should slip back or whether you're going to make it. All right. Background. There's a background link for your reference on how to think about epics and issues and checkboxes and all that stuff. And then after you start breaking this master epic up into issues, you can consider creating a project in GitHub, as I described earlier, to make it easy for your group to have a single Kanban board just for this work. And you can start creating new issues. So for example, if we're going to create this new epic, we can go and find existing issues in either the roadmap repo or the baseline repo. And we can check off the ones that we think are part of this, or if there aren't any yet, you can create the epic and then add them later. Pretty easy. Or you can create a new issue right here and just create some issues that will be contained in this project. But if this is the first step in your master epic, you're just going to want to create the epic, which I won't do here. Well, actually I will, just I'll get rid of it later. So here we've created it, and it's project 100 in the baseline roadmap. Here's the description, and then you can start editing it. And what you want to do is get people to start putting comments in here, or if they have the ability to do so, put stuff in here. And then once you've started to really articulate it, you can start to create new sub-projects. You can add issues to this epic just by creating more issues and connecting them to this one, which is pretty easy because you just go, if this were an issue, a task or a story or some other discrete piece of work that is going to contribute to the completion of this project, you could just hit epics when you're in there and type in project. In this case, well, I don't think it'll do it from here, but you can type in you can say this is part of the manufacturing demo project, and then it would be in there, which in this case it's not, so I'll take that off. Oops. And that's it. I'm going to take that off there, and I'm going to delete this. So that is the I'm just going to close that issue. So we've successfully completed the showing of this of the project methodology in Zenhub. By the way, if you don't have Zenhub, make sure that you get it. It's easy to get. You just go to the Chrome plugin or go to Zenhub. So go to apps.zenhub. You'll notice that this is one way to do it, is you can go into, if you don't have the plugin, you can go into app.zenhub.com/workspaces/baseline main roadmap and all this stuff. So that if you don't have the plugin, or if you don't want it, you can do it that way. You can go into the web app, or you can go to Zenhub. I don't know if it's IO or com. There it is. Zenhub.com, and you can get get the Chrome plugin from there. All you need is your GitHub ID, and that is it. Thanks for listening, and great to have you involved in the Baseline community. Hopefully, this helps a lot.